Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video. Today, the second last race of the WOR season. We are racing around Brazil. We had a terrible last race around Suzuka. We didn't have the pace, got taken out, but we're still in the championship fight. And today, Thomas Ronna can win the championship. But, yeah, as you can see, he will have to win and we will have to finish third or lower. And you can see there, if he finishes second, we need to finish fifth or lower, and so on. So, yeah, we simply said need to win today, and I'm very much focused on F1 Esports, of course. We're not gonna be great, but we still should be. We should be all right. And Brazil, one of the most fun tracks to drive around, in my opinion. As it's just good for battling, you know. Usually also tends to have some changeable conditions, and that's gonna happen today as well. Rain forecasted later on in the race. We can't exactly see when you're in qualifying when it's gonna happen, of course. But let's head into qualifying now. Our first Q1 lap, and always switching builds is a little bit hard, so it feels a little bit different. And it makes it a little bit hard to do league racing sometimes, so that's why we're not going to be great in this first Q1 lap for sure. Jake Benham, our teammate, sitting right next to us actually, is on his lap as well. Jonas Martins goes to P1 with a 107.224, and into the middle sector we go now. This is where all the time gets made around this track. Very important to keep the minimum speed up throughout this whole section. Exits are very short, so main time comes from entry to minimum speed. It's always very hard around here for some reason to get the front tires to bite into the asphalt. So that's the hardest part, personally for me. Into the last sector we go, which is basically just one corner and then a massive straight. And whoever's on the lowest wings is most likely gonna set the fastest last sector up to the line. Gonna keep it short. And that is a 107.532. Wasn't enough, so we had to go again. And as you can see there, that is gonna be enough. P11 there. Yes, you can hear me say, have a little sigh. I'm not very happy. Not feeling comfortable just yet. You can see there, George Nadar in P1. Jonas Martins P2, Jake Benham P3, Luke Smith in P4. On to Q2 we go then. We have already set a used tire run in this session, which I had put it in P8, but it's just more to get a banker up there on the leaderboard. Luke Smith goes P1 with a 107.93, and we're gonna try and beat that, of course. DRS open for the second time this lap. And it's not going to be a purple first sector. We 2/10 up on Xander van Dijken, but that is his used tire run, of course, so that doesn't say much. We need to try and absolutely nail this lap so we can get into Q3 and still have 2 new sets of tires remaining. Into the middle sector, we are almost 3/10 up. A little bit of understeer there on entry, which is not ideal. Now, keep trying to get the power down as early as possible. Again, a lot of entry understeer, and that's what I've struggled so much with on this game, because I'm just really not used to entry understeer. Most race cars in real life racing, but also in sim racing, always are tricky to drive on entry, and even Wheel F1 cars, if they spin out, it's usually on entry or entry to mid high speed corner. So P6 it is. We are struggling, and we're definitely going to have to go again because there's still quite a few people on laps, so we're definitely going to drop down further down the field there. So second push lap here, and you can see we're P11, and it's just not looking good. Again, a lot of entry understeer into the final corner, which switches to snap oversteer.
I'm out.
And
Can be hard.
as you can see there,
Why?
we are not going through. 16,000 slower than our previous attempt, and we were 1,000 off of getting into Q3. You can see how close it is. Top 6 covered in 700s. Top 11 covered in 1.6 tons. And now, this is just league racing.
Don't worry.
Imagine
P11 to P11.
when we get to Everyday Esports. Anyway, on to the race now. Starting P11. It's Jake is waffling in the background as per usual. We're going to be starting on the mediums. You can see it's going to rain very early on in the race, but yeah, I decided to go for mediums. A lot of people on softs. I didn't want to start on use softs just in case the rain does come late. Now, onto the race we go then. It's going to be 5 red lights. And away we go. We get a pretty good start of the line compared to the soft runners. Thomas Ronner starting in last place, by the way. So he decided to go for a last to first challenge in this race. You can see Cartoluni squeezing us a little bit initially, but then leaving us a space later on. As they almost crashed on that section. So that was scary because we were right behind that. Now down to P13, we've lost 2 positions as Cartoluni gets a big snap of oversteer again on that exit, battling the Williams up ahead. And now we need to try and stay in this position as there's a McLaren going slowly and ghosting. So we get that position back and up to P12. So we only lost 1 position technically as we go for a big send down the inside. And I wasn't really meant to go for the overtake there. I was just attacking to defend. As if we would have kept behind, then most likely Antoine would have got us right there in that corner. Now the question is, when does the rain come? Because if it takes another 6-7 laps, then those mediums are going to be fired up. As someone is boxing already, that's Joseph Loke. Must be for Inters. You can see it is raining already. And now the question is, when will it be ready for intermediates? Joseph Loke has gone risky and boxed early for intermediates. As you can see, Thomas Ronner up to P13 already. As there have been, I think, 2 or 3 people, maybe 4 people with damage in his opening lap. And of course, Joseph, who have boxed, as Jeff is coming up with an intermediate strategy already. His car gets a big snap, and you can see that it is getting slippery around here. And that means that we have gambled wrong with those mediums, but I always feel like it's better to lose 1 or 2 positions as Andrei Tarabukin goes off into the grass.
What are these?
And as you can see,
each other's face, man.
it's getting very messy. Left it with a big moment. A lot of people struggling in these half wet, half dry conditions. We've turned on the overtake button to try and defend from Antoine Dezeluski as he boxes, luckily. So now it's Thomas Ronner, our championship rival, right behind us. We decide to continue for another lap. You can see the asphalt is getting very, very wet, but Jake was up front, of course, and I did not want to get held in that pit stop, so decided to stay out another lap and potentially lose 1 or 2 seconds, which we would lose anyway if we would have boxed that lap. So yeah.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
As you can see now, it is very wet, but it's not too bad. Like, it's not like it's undrivable, you know. We're obviously losing time, but it's not seconds. At least for us, you can see we're closing the gap to Carter. Our medium should not be working in these conditions, but they are.
Good grip, to be honest.
As you can hear me say, we still got good grip, and it won't be for long anymore before that completely fades away. So we are going to be boxing at the end of this lap for a brand new set of intermediates, and then it's going to be interesting to see who's got the best intermediate setup on. So we're going to be boxing. You can see Carter did gain a lot there on that exit, and it shows those mediums have fallen out of their working condition temperature. So on to the Inters go. Thomas braked very deep into that entry. Manuel Biancolillo with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So does Liam Parnell, who also went for the mediums. Now everyone on to intermediates. Carter Lundi ahead of us, as expected. And now the question is...
no force feedback, that's great.
Where do we filter out? You can see there for a brief moment. Someone is on the outside there, and that's Antoine Dieseluski. Now the question is, who will come out ahead? We box side by side, we will come out side by side, but it's Antoine Dieseluski who comes out ahead. And now we've dropped to a net P13 as everyone is boxed, so a 2-position loss from the opening lap. So that's not been a great start to this race yet. You know, we of course lost only 2 positions, but we shouldn't forget that 2 people went off as well, Xander van Dijk and André Tarabukin, so we could have lost 4 positions in this opening few laps. And yeah, we need to try and turn this around as soon as possible if we want to stay in this championship fight. Thomas Ronner, of course, right behind us. So that is good, but Ruben Pedreno and Jake Benham are in the fight for this title as well, so we need to keep an eye on them as well. And you can see we get a much better exit than Antoine out of the final corner. And can we go for a move into turn 1 in the slipstream? And you can see he has a little bit more straight line speed. I think we were both using the overtake button. I was having a little look down the inside, but Antoine covers it off. Now can we go for the switchback here? Harlem Marquis right ahead of us. Can we get a power down a little bit earlier? We can, but you see, we almost tapped him. I think we might have a little bit tapped him on that exit, but it didn't really matter that much. Down the inside we go into turn 4. I went a little bit deep, but managed to slow it down enough to keep him space. We keep him space on that exit as well, and up to P12 we go. And once again, Antoine Dieseluski ahead of us. Primoz Miklavic, if I say his name correct, crashed on the exit of turn 3. And now there is a safety car.
What is this delta?
Now there's a safety car deployed, so...
Okay, conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
We were lucky we got just ahead of Harlem before the safety car. It just gives us a little bit more track position. So now safety car coming in this lap, and we need to try and nail this restart and see if we can gain as much position as possible. Now off the line we go. You can see I just didn't time it right. I tried to get momentum on the guy's head, but I just did not get it right. So they're pretty far back there, but you can see it's a complete mess in turn 1. We're gonna try and take an advantage of that, and on the switchback you can see we get the power down much better, but Carter is out of shape, out of turn 3, and we're sandwiched between an Alpine and an Alfa Romeo, and down the inside of the Ferrari we go to try and cover off Antoine, who hits us on the entry, and a little bit of a domino effect there, because Antoine hits us, because of that hit the Ferrari, and now we're going side by side through the middle sector with Modesto Mena. Absolutely beautiful name, by the way. Sounds very Italian, but we're still going side by side with the Ferrari. We keep each other enough space on all the exits as we go side by side into the next right-hander. Again, Modesto ahead of us, but we get traction as with more momentum on the exit, and now into the final corner we finally get ahead, and up to P9 we go. 3 positions gained on the safety car restart. Now left it in the Williams ahead of us up next, and you can see there Modesto Mena using the overtake button, and he's gonna go for it around the outside once again. We're gonna be going side by side into turn 1. We have to be careful with the guys ahead, but again, Modesto Mena on the inside, we leave him the space, he leaves us the space on the exit, and we get a much better run than the Williams up ahead. We're going to turn on the overtake button, which is not quite close enough. Once again, Modesto Mena coming back at us into turn 4, but we managed to cover it off. Joseph Lowe goes deep into turn 4, and we slip down the inside. We leave him the space on the exit, and now, once again, we're going to be going side by side into the middle sector. Left it goes deep, gives us dirty air, and once again, Joseph down the inside. We turn in a little bit too early. Side by side into the next left-hander. You're gonna leave him the space on the exit, and once again, a little tap there on that exit. Side by side on this entry. We're a little bit deep. Joseph gets better exit speed, but we managed to get a power down slightly better with our setup. Into the final corner down the inside, and up to P8 we go. Left it in the Williams up next, and we have gained 5 positions since this, not since the safety car restart, since the opening lap losses. P13 to P8 now, and we're gonna have to defend from Heusinkveld into turn 1. Now, we have to save tires a little bit in these next few laps, because it's gonna be quite a stretch to get these tires till the end. So that's the question: will people box from here on, or will they not? You can see Jake Benham in the bottom left. It's, I think, around 4 or 5 seconds ahead of P2, as left it goes deep at the end of lap 10, and we get a much better exit now in the slipstream for this wall trade. Left it won't have any slipstream from Ruben Pedreno, he's too far ahead. We're gonna tuck in the slipstream into turn 1. You can see we can have a little move down the inside. You see we're gonna brake slightly later down the inside. We go a little bit deep, so does left it. We go for the switchback, and we're gonna try and get the power down around the outside once again. And you can see we've got so much more grip around the outside. We've got so much more momentum. And up to P7 we go. 6 positions gained now. And now Ruben Pedreno, our championship rival, one of our championship rivals, up next. But before we go for that, we're gonna have to save some tires, because tire wear is gonna be crucial. We're gonna plan to not stop again in this race, because you can see how hard it is to overtake all these guys, as the field is just so close. So we're gonna save tires and hope we can make it to the end. End of lap 19 now. You can see we've gapped Heusinkveld and left it. And we've caught up to Ruben Pedreno, who recharged our battery, which was completely empty. We have saved our tires, as there's a Haas Alfa Romeo.
Here to stay for a while. Doesn't look like he's moving on anytime soon. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
And the Alpine of Luke Smith boxing. And I'm not sure if that's for full wets, because the conditions have changed to full wets. But it does say that at the end of the race it is going to be dry again, so I'm really not sure. As
This is box, no any useful answers, right?
Our teammate Jake Benham is boxing for a new set of inters. Yeah, I'm really not sure at this point.
The rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
As Jeff says, rain is going to be lightening, so I really wasn't sure what the right call was. I was not planning to box anyway, but I was just a little bit scared of those wet runners, because you're going to be losing seconds per lap, of course, if you are out on track in full wet conditions on those intermediates.
Shut your ass up, man. I don't give a shit about your strategy options.
As Jeff kept giving me strategy options, and I just wanted him to shut up. He wanted me to go to wets desperately.
So much faster, but I'm just stuck.
As Jake crashes in that middle sector, and it's basically out of the race, so
Jake is off.
that is unfortunate for him. Good for us, because he's our championship rival, but also our teammate, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But yeah, unfortunate for him. He's gonna, instead of finishing ahead of Thomas and taking points off him, and Ruben Pedreno, he's now not gonna get any points. You can see he's so far back now. But on to our own battle again. We still have to pass 2 people if we want to win this race, and we have to create a gap in case those wet runners do catch up. And you can see we've got so much more confidence on throttle, and we're gonna try and go all the way around the outside of Ruben Pedreno, who I think has wing damage as well. So this shouldn't be too hard. Around the outside we go in this middle sector. He leaves us just about enough space. This is great racing, and on the exit we're gonna leave him enough space. He backs out of it, and I think that front wing damage is just a little bit too much. And now Mirko Soriano is up next in that Ferrari. Question is, can we pass him? Passing in the wet is one of the hardest things on this game, because you don't have the advantage of the DRS, and you still have the disadvantage from the dirty air, so that makes it just so much more harder. You're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, and that's what we're gonna be trying to do in those next few laps. We've got the tires to do so. We've got the tires to push the rest of this race. You can see in one lap we've gained around 6-7 tenths to Ruben Pedreno, and it shows that we've got the pace here in those last 10 laps of the race. 4 tenths behind Mirko Soriano. We can see we're gaining all the time. Every traction zone we've got so much more confidence. Every braking zone we're gaining so much, and on the exit we're gonna try and go for it and do the same to what we did to Ruben Pedreno. Can we go around the outside? Mirko is slightly better exits than Ruben, which makes it harder. You can try and go for the switchback there, but he's just a little bit too far back to go for it. Now, can we do it somewhere here in the middle sector? You can see we're trying to find clean air by driving different lines, but it's just so difficult to get the rotation where you're so close behind and get the traction down where you're so close behind, because you're losing front and rearing performance when you're that close behind. Now, can we get him on this exit? We've been so strong on this exit all race, and you can see pretty much equal on the exit, but we've got the slipstream. You can see Miracle gets a big snap of oversteer. Over the grass we go, around the outside, and we've got more momentum now because of the snap of oversteer of Miracle. Into turn 1 we go, side by side. Miracle down the inside he goes, he locks up, sends us a little bit wide. Onto the grass we go, we get the inside for the next one, but the outside for the left-hander, which has proven to be so good for us this whole race. We get the power down, and we got more momentum by taking the outside, and into the lead we go with 9 laps to go. Now the question is, are we safe from those wet runners? As Jeff keeps recommending us the wet tires, we completely ignore him. And now the question is, will those wet runners catch up or not? You can see the front just doesn't want to bite. It's way too wet for those intermediates. And you can see everyone else is just struggling with it. We keep gaining time. Antoine Dieseluski now almost 7 seconds behind, where we're right with him after the safety car. We actually had to overtake him still. So you can see in just half a lap time we've already gained a second, and we're absolutely loving life here in full wet conditions on those old intermediates. The others are not though, and we just got so much confidence in these conditions. The car is feeling absolutely amazing. The balance is feeling amazing. The tire wear is amazing, as we've managed to save tires all race. And you can see lap after lap we're gaining seconds to the rest of the grid. 1 second on the last lap, another 1.5 seconds right there. Next lap is 1.7 seconds, and on the next lap it's 2.6 seconds as we cross the line. The rest of the field is doing 1:23.0. We're doing 1:20.6, and the gap in laps have increased to almost 10 seconds. Now you can see Antoine Dieseluski is getting back into this race, but he has a 3-second penalty, and he is closing to Mirko Suriano. A lot of people have boxed for wets, a lot of people have boxed for intermediates again, and also a lot of people have stayed out on intermediates. And it looks like staying out was the best strategy today for most people, but we just got so much more pace at this stage in the race. You can see it's so hard to get the front in and to get the power down because it's full wet conditions, you know. But the issue with boxing to full wets is that even if you're 1, 2, 3 seconds per lap faster, you still need to catch up. But the main issue is that you need to overtake all those people who are going to be so slow, so much slower, and that means your progress is stalling. And with 2 laps to go, the gap has increased once again by over 2 seconds. You can see last lap I think it was another 2.5, 2.6 seconds, and 1:20.5 for us there on that last lap.
Okay, their tyres are more than 30 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1:23.0.
And as you can see, that 2.5 seconds on that lap. And going into the final corner of the race now, we're gonna win after starting in P11, losing effectively 4 positions, gaining 2 because of others' misfortunes. Restarting the race in P13, and we're gonna win by over 18 seconds to the rest of the grid. And even better news for us is that Thomas Ronner is gonna be dropping out of the points. Finish P13.
You're in P11, you're washed.